We are talking with Doug from ImpactWageringSolutions.com, Zach from MackeyScore.com, and Steve from CollegeFootballWinning.com, previewing Week 8 in college football here on the SBRtv College Football Experts Roundtable. Now let's just get to the Marquee Matchups Rundown that we do, where we take a quick look at the lines for all the marquee games coming up. We've covered a few of these. We covered LSU Auburn, but there's a few others that we haven't touched on. Let's get right down to it. Let's first recap what we think about LSU Auburn. Doug, what do you think?
I think LSU is definitely the play. They're the better team, stronger team. Auburn's got quarterback issues. Let's go with LSU to win this game handily.
And Steve, gun to your head, what would you pick?
Two key injuries right there. I'd stay away from LSU. If someone said place a bet on this game, I'd place bet on the under.
Zach, Auburn LSU minus 22.5.
I'm going to stay away for the reasons that I don't like the LSU suspensions. 22.5 is a lot of points.
Next game, USC at Notre Dame. This is a pretty interesting game. USC is an 8.5-point road underdog. That seems a little bit high to me, but maybe not. Steve, what do you think of that line?
I think Notre Dame is the play here, and it looks like the public is backing USC right now. USC is banged up. They do not play well on the road. USC's too young, too banged up. Notre Dame is too hungry, too well coached right now. Too many question marks at USC. Great rivalry game. I would have to go with Notre Dame.
Really? Doug, Notre Dame minus more than a touchdown?
I'm going to have to respectfully disagree with Steven. USC forced 5 turnovers last week, and I think their defense could actually cause a few more problems for Notre Dame in that same regard. Now, the Trojans are 8-3 as road underdogs, and even though I don't think they'll win in South Bend, I wouldn't be surprised at all if they got the cover.
Notre Dame minus more than a touchdown at home. Zach, what do you think?
I like Notre Dame in this situation. Biggest thing to pay attention from Notre Dame is I don't care about the turnovers in the red zone because you can't turn over the ball in the red zone unless you get to the red zone. Simply by statistics even out, they'll start to convert those. I'm not big on USC at all. I think Matt Barkley is smoke and mirrors. They have a great wide receiver in Robert Woods, struggle to get him the ball or get other people the ball. No running game to speak of. And Notre Dame is very athletic and has a much better coaching advantage. We like the Irish at home.
All right. What about Wisconsin at Michigan? Wisconsin at Michigan State. Michigan State, of course, just off their big win over Michigan. Now they're a 7.5-point home underdog to Wisconsin. Another one of the teams that's been covering and rewarding the public who's been betting them. Steve, what do you think?
Okay, this is first of all, it's a revenge game for Wisconsin. It's the only game that they lost in the regular season last year. And we talk about how teams need an excuse to lose and a reason to win. Wisconsin has a definite reason to win here and to win big. They have been seemingly locked out of BCS legitimate national championship contention by the computers. So they need to win. They need to win big time against good teams. Michigan State is that good defense that the Sharps love. Public loves Wisconsin. This is one of those games where Wisconsin has to make their showing here if they want to make a run at that national championship game. Michigan State brings the better defense. Wisconsin brings the better total team. I like Wisconsin. I was able to get them at -7. I don't think you can get that anymore, but I still like them at -8.
Wow. Road favorite of more than a touchdown at Michigan State. Doug, what do you think?
Well, my power ratings actually support the line in this particular game, and I think it's actually really a tough game to call either way. I guess I'd lean a little bit towards the Badgers, but what I do know is that both of these teams have played 8 straight overs. I see even though the defenses are really good, I'm going to support that thought process and take over in Michigan State and Wisconsin.
Michigan State, ranked team, +7.5 at home. Zach, what do you think?
Tough one here. We like Wisconsin, though. I mean, Wisconsin is the real deal. I mean, the Big Ten hasn't really seen a Big Ten brand of offense with a true passer like Russell Wilson a lot of time. You got Nick Toon out there. You got the great running game, but it really starts up front with the offensive line. Don't mistake Russell Wilson for Denard Robinson. Denard Robinson, great quarterback, exciting, but man, is he the king of the blow-ups. The fact that the game's in East Lansing doesn't scare me at all. We're going to go ahead and lay those 7.5 points with Wisconsin. We think we'll win that one.
All right. And then finally, Stanford, -20.5 at home against Washington. Stanford, one of those teams. Public loves them, always a big favorite, been covering all year. Washington, though, they've been playing well, though. 20.5 points, that's a lot of points. Steve, what do you think?
Boy, Stanford is one of those teams that they put up pretty much whatever number anyone wants, and Stanford keeps covering. just keeps covering. So it is so difficult to bet against Stanford. I would not do it. At the same time, this is a good Washington team that is 5-1 against the spread themselves. This game is at Stanford, but Stanford enjoys almost no home field advantage at their place in Palo Alto. I am staying away from this game.
20.5 points. That is a lot of goddamn points. Zach, what do you think?
That's a lot of points, but not for the cover machine that is the Stanford Cardinal. I mean, they've just been absolutely fantastic. It took a long way to get there last week, and when they went to Washington State, I was sure waiting for it because I wanted to move on to the next game and just mark that as a win, and finally they did. We like Stanford in this game. Washington, very improved. We like what Sarkisian's doing. They've done a really better than expected job. But Stanford is a new brand of football. They're smash mouth. They're in your face. They're kind of going back to the old school, kind of what LSU is doing on a West Coast version, but not nearly as good. Best quarterback in the country, best uses of the tight ends in the country. We'll go ahead and lay that big number at home. Lay the 3 touchdowns. Go with Stanford.
Okay, Doug, what's your take on this line?
Well, Stanford is actually, at least in my opinion, watching them play, they've been on cruise control, setting it at about 64 in a 65-mile-an-hour speed zone. In this particular case, they have to start stepping it up. And even though they're an impressive 7-0 against the spread as double-digit favorites, I think they're going to really come to play. National TV audience, big game at home. I think they will fly away as the Cardinals take care of Washington.
All right. And that's our Week 8 college football preview here on the SBRtv College Football Experts Roundtable. Thanks so much to Doug from Impact Wagering Solutions, Steve from collegefootballwinning.com, and Zach Rosenfield from AccuScore.com. Thanks.